chapter 8. And after this it came to pass that David smote the Philistines, and subdued them. And David took Metheg-ammah out of the hand of the Philistines, and he smote Moab, and measured them with a line, making them to lie down on the ground. And he measured 2 lines to put to death, and 1 full line to keep alive. And the Moabites became servants to David, and brought presents. David smote also Hadadezer, the son of Rehob, king of Zobah, as he went to establish his dominion at the river Euphrates. And David took from him 1,700 horsemen, and 20,000 footmen. And David hewed all the chariots' horses, but reserved of them for 100 chariots. And when the Arameans of Damascus came to succor Hadadezer, king of Zobah, David smote of the Arameans 22,000 men. And David put garrisons in Aram of Damascus. Arameans became servants to David, and brought presents, and the Lord gave victory to David whithersoever he went. And David took the shields of gold that were on the servants of Hadadezer's, and brought them to Jerusalem. And from Beital, and from Berothai, cities of Hadadezer, King David took exceeding much brass. And when Toi, king of Hamath, heard that David had smitten all the host of Hadadezer, then Toi sent Joram his son unto King David to salute him, and bless him, because he had fought against Hadadezer, and smitten him. For Hadadezer had wars with Toi, and he brought with him vessels of silver, and vessels of gold, and vessels of brass. These also did King David dedicate unto the Lord, with the silver and the gold that he dedicated all the nations which he subdued, of Aram, and of Moab, and of children of Ammon, and of the Philistines, and of Amalek, and of the spoil of Hadadezer, son of Rehob, king of Zobah. And David got him a name when he returned from smiting the Arameans in the valley of Salt, even 18,000 men. And he put garrisons in Edom, throughout all Edom, but he put garrisons, and all the Edomites became servants to David. And the Lord gave victory to David whithersoever he went. And David reigned over all Israel. And David executed justice and righteousness unto all his people. And Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was over the host. And Jehoshaphat, the son of Ahilud, was recorder. And Zadok, the son of Ahitub, and Ahimelech, the son of Abiathar, were priests. And Seraiah was scribe. And Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, was over the Kerethites and the Pelethites, and David's sons were chief ministers. All right, let's go to verse 1. Now, yesterday, we'll remember that God had promised to establish David's house forever, and now we are beginning, and that's what this chapter is about, a new beginning. Chapter 8 being the new beginning. We're going to go deeper into the windings. Verse 1, And after this it came to pass that David smote the Philistines, and subdued them, and took Metheg-ammah out of the hand of the Philistines. So now David is war again. I know we were sitting in peace, but now we're at war again. And David has gone down to smite the Philistines, these that have drifted from the law of God. And he's took Metheg-ammah from the Philistines, from these that drift God. And Metheg-ammah means the bridle of measurement, or the control of measurement, and this would be the judgments of God. So he's now taken the control of the judgments of God from the Philistines, these that God had used to judge the children of Israel. And now David's going to begin to judge them too. And he smote Moab, and measured them with the line, making them to lie down on the ground. And he measured 2 lines to put to death, and 1 full line to keep alive. And the Moabites became servants to David, and brought presents. And Moab means like his father. And so now he's come, and he's going to judge Moab. And he's judged them 2 lines, and he's caused to lay down on the ground. He's going to put them to death. So God's wanting you to witness now. And 1, this beginning. 3, And David smote also Hadadezer, the son of Rehob, king of Zobah. And Hadadezer means the mighty helper. And he is the son of Rehob, and Rehob means that place, a wide place, like the wide place you would come into a city, or the entrance. And Zobah means the post, or a station where you would be set, a watch place, or like a guard would be established. He's done this to establish his dominion over this river, and the river always stands for these truths flowing, or this water, that which is supposed to be pure. And Euphrates means to the breaking forth of fruit, the bringing forth of fruit. And David took from him 1,700 horsemen and 20,000 footmen. And David hewed all the chariot horses, but reserved of them for 100 chariots. So David has come against the armies of Hadassah, and he's beating them down, and he's taken from them now these 1,700 horsemen and 20,000 footmen. These are the soldiers, these 20 being the 20,000 being the redemption fulfilled, and these 1,700 being now the fulfillment, this perfect of judgment, this perfection of judgment. But David has reserved 100 of these chariot horsemen for himself, and this 100 is for judgment now. And like I said, this judgment now is going to be passed to David through this chapter. And when the Arameans of Damascus came to secure Hadassah, king of Zobah, David smote of the Arameans 22,000 men. And these Arameans are the enlightened ones, and they've come now to Hadassah to try to get him to help them fight against David. And these Arameans, the enlightened ones, this is where Abraham was originally from. Damascus means silent is the sackcloth weaver. And this sackcloth is something you would put on during your mourning. This is what they're doing. They're weaving this sackcloth for you. And David smote there now, the Arameans, these 22,000. God's wanting you to witness now. The redemption is going to be fulfilled. And through this understanding of what's going on, the true understanding of what's going on, then David put garrisons, verse 6, in Aram of Damascus. And the Arameans became servants to David and brought presents, and the Lord gave victory to David whithersoever he went. So now David, he's put garrisons, and these garrisons are basically an army base in Aram, and this is the place of enlightened ones of Damascus, this place where they would weave the sackcloth. 7, and David took the shields of gold that were on the servants of Hadassah and brought them to Jerusalem. So then these shields would be those things that God give us to protect us. This shield of God, this one the army of God uses, is the commandments of God, the law of God. That is your shield. But these shields of gold represent the truths that belong to God anyway, and he's took these shields and he's brought them now to Jerusalem, this place of peaceful teachings. And from Beital and from Berothai, cities of Hadassah, King David took exceeding much brass. And brass is always going to be in reference to cold darkness. And Beital means this place of security. And Berothai is this evergreen grove, this grove of cedar trees, this place where much shade is. And this would be the cold, dark brass. And 9, and when Toi, king of Hamath, heard that David had smitten the host of Hadassah. So Toi, he is the king of Hamath, and he's heard now that David has come down and smitten Hadassah. And Toi means this wanderer, or this strayer. And Hamath is joined fortress. So he's heard David has done this. 10. Then Toi sent Joram his son unto King David to salute him and bless him, because he had fought against Hadassah and smitten him. For Hadassah had made wars with Toi, and he brought with him vessels of silver and vessels of gold and vessels of brass. And these vessels would be these individuals who would come with that, and that which belongs to God, and that which is going to pass through the fire and be purified by it, even these who are without. And Joram means God has exalted. 11. These also did King David dedicate unto the Lord with the silver and the gold that he dedicated all the nations which he subdued. So now we're seeing David is gathering gold, gathering silver, and this is going to be in a later time to build the house of God, and he's dedicating this to God. So this is becoming a dedicated thing unto God. 12. And of Edom, and of Moab, and of the children of Ammon, and of the Philistines, and of Amalek, and of the spoil of Hadassah, son of Rahab, the king of Zobah. And this is where David was getting all this stuff that he was dedicating for God, or to God. And where he was getting them from Edom, the enlightened ones, Moab, those who are like the Father, Ammon, all the nations, and the Philistines are those that drift, Amalek, the dwellers of the flesh, Hadassah is the mighty helper, the wide place, and the post. So David's gathering spoil from all these places, and he's dedicating this to God. And David got him a name when he returned from smiting the Arameans in the valley of Salt, even 18,000 men. In this valley of Salt, this Arameans, those enlightened ones, then this valley of Salt, valley is a narrow gorge, and it represents a narrow place. And this salt is the salt of life, and it stands for understanding. So this was the narrow place that David slayed there and fought against the Arameans. Even these 18,000, 18 now being the bondage, is fulfilled. 14. And he put garrisons in Edom, and Edom is red. Throughout all Edom put he garrisons, and all of the Edomites became servants to David. And the Lord gave victory to David whithersoever he went. And these Edomites, Edom means red, stand for those that show the blood in the flesh, or this, and the blood being the life thereof. So, and what this represents is those that would show this in the flesh. 18. David reigned over all Israel, and David executed justice and righteousness unto all his people. So David, he is the king of Israel, the whole house of Israel, and even these tribes that are scattered throughout all the nations in the end time. 16. And Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was over the host, and Jehoshaphat, the son of Ahilud, was recorder. So now we're going to start meeting the cabinet of David, these that would help David rule in the kingdom. And Joab is the son of Zeruiah. We have done met Joab. Joab means God is Father, and he is the son of the Zeruiah, who means this that is broken, that brings forth that which is necessary to heal. And Jehoshaphat is the judge, God's judge. And he's the son of Ahilud, and Ahi means my brother, and Ahilud is my brother's birth. So, and he is the recorder. So and a recorder would be he that would write down and record the businesses of the king. And 17, and Zadok, the son of Ahitub, and Ahimelech, the son of Abiathar, were the priests, and Seraiah was the scribe, or the one who would transcript and record those things that were of God. 17, Zadok means righteous, and he is the son of Ahitub, and Ahitub means my brother's goodness. Ahi, my brother, Tub, goodness or good. And Ahimelech, my brother, is king. He is the son of Abiathar, and Abiathar is this God's remnant, my father's remnant. They were the priests. Sarah, means God has power, and God is trying to show you that he does have power to establish these things. God has the power to rule over men, and he is using men to teach you this. 18, and Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, was over the Kerethites and the Pelethites, and David's sons were the chief ministers. And Benaiah means God has built. God has built, and then God can build. God is going to show you he has the ability to build these things. He is going to build this up, and he worketh over a period of time, see, so that we can see and understand that he is God, because men cannot work these things. And Benaiah, he is the son of Jehoiada, because God understands that we are men and we are flesh, and that this is the way we are. And he is the one that's over the Kerethites, these enforcers and these swift runners. Because God has built this up, he is the one we'll find. The prophets will tell us now. God made the smith. God made the artificers that they could fashion it so. God made all this so that you can either understand or be deceived thereby. It's going to be your decision. And David has made his sons were the chief ministers. So David has established his kingdom now, and these shall be those that help David rule. And we're going to move on to chapter 9.